GN Sports.
Hey! Holy cow! Yes! Score! Yes!
Gorgeous evening in downtown Detroit as the Cubs wrap up this road trip and they try to end a 3-game losing streak. Cubs and Tigers coming up here on WGN Sports. Great to have you with us. Jim DeShays and Len Casper with you. The Cubs continue to score 1 run on a solo home run. They've done it in all 5 games to start this road trip. The good news is the Cubs are pitching really well.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting what's been going on, but enough. It's time to put some runs on the board. Well, we're optimistic folks here. Glass half full. Since August 6th, the Cubs managed to play winning baseball, 7-6 record, despite a major league low 2.5 runs per game. They're batting .239 in the month of August. The bullpen has been good all year. They continue to be very good. A .190 bullpen ERA, and the starters have really turned a corner recently as well.
John Lester will face the Tigers, a team he has seen a lot in his career. Francisco Liriano pitched against the Cubs at Wrigley Field earlier.
Yeah, Liriano, it's been a tough go for him. Last time out against Minnesota, he just lasted an inning and 2/3, gave up 8 runs. John Lester, his last start in Pittsburgh, one of his best of the season, matched his season high with 8 punch-outs, didn't walk a man, scoreless baseball, and that was after a pretty rough stretch of pitching.
Daniel Murphy is here. He's in the lineup, and we'll hear from Murphy, the newest Cub, who will lead off tonight. Coming up next.
That enjoys responsibly. Budweiser reminds you to drink wiser. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today. Lexus, experience amazing. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. Volkswagen. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer or VWDealer.com for the Volkswagen dealer near you. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Welcome back to Detroit. Daniel Murphy in his Cubs debut will be in the leadoff spot playing second base. You look good in Cubs blue. How does it feel to wear a uniform that you had competed so hard against over the last several years?
Fits good. It fits good. I like it. I like all the blue. The guys have been so welcoming. Front office, the staff, the coaches. It's been great. They've been awesome by me and my family, and we're excited to be here.
So you get traded to the Cubs. There had to be someone you thought, I can't wait to play with that guy. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but there has to be somebody in that clubhouse that you've had your eye on over the years saying, that guy I like.
It was probably because I love offense. It'd be Rizzo. I even watched last night. He works a walk last night, hits that ball. He just doesn't give away a pitch, and so that's something that I know how difficult it is to go in there and compete every single pitch. It takes a real choice, and he chooses to do that every night. So it's fun to watch.
All right, we'll put this to bed. Cub fans, I promise you, we will not ask them about it again. But the 2015 NLCS, that had to be the highlight of your career at this point, right? We're pretty close to it.
Yeah, on-field career. I got 3 children and a rock star wife at the house. But yeah, I'd say on-field career. It was a good ball club there in New York. We played well. The Cubs had a great team, and we saw the maturation of that 2015 team in 2016, the next year when they won it all, and well-deserving in 2016.
Is there something about Wrigley Field, or just do you feel comfortable there, or coincidence?
I don't know. I think I feel like I see the ball maybe a little bit better during the day, and so you go there, play some day games, and maybe that's what it is.
All right. I'm not saying you're old, but you fit the profile of a guy who might have watched day games on WGN on the Superstation back when you were a kid.
Yes, it was WGN were the Cubs, TBS were the Braves, and always watched, always had access to the day games on during the summer when there was no school.
Great to have you with us. Good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Daniel Murphy, and he'll lead it off when we come back right here on WGN. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today. Now tonight's Cubs Southwest Airlines starting lineup, kind of cool. Daniel Murphy wearing number 3. The Tigers will retire number 3 on Sunday in honor of Hall of Famer Alan Trammell. Baez will bat second and play short. Addison Russell has gone to the DL. We'll tell you about that a little later. Rizzo homered last night. Zobrist is the DH. Hayward batting 5th in right. Almora in center. David Bodie playing 3rd, hitting 7th, looking for his first hit on the trip. Contreras, the catcher, 8th, and Ian Happ, 9th.
The Tigers defensively this evening. Mikey Matuk plays left. Victor Reyes center. Nicholas Castellanos is in right. Candelario third base. Jose Iglesias is the shortstop. Goodrum at second. Ronnie Rodriguez gets a start at first. James McCann is behind the plate. Francisco Liriano pitches for the Tigers tonight. It's been a rough go for him. This is his 20th start. Spent some time on the DL earlier this year. 3-8. He has not won since the end of April. 472 the earned run average. League bats 247 against Liriano. He is 5-5 with a 3.35 lifetime against the Chicago Cubs.
You heard a bit of a roar from the crowd here. Cub fans cheering on Daniel Murphy as he was just announced. And hasn't let off a ton in his career, mostly between second and fifth in the order. But he's batting first tonight. Here we go, Liriano to Murphy. And a fastball wide for ball one.
Now, Liriano does a lot of work out of the strike zone. You have to be patient, force him over the plate. He has walked almost as many as he has struck out this year.
That is a strike. According to Alfonso Marquez, the crew chief, calling balls and strikes tonight. 1-1. Got the call, bottom of the zone, 93 on the Heat. Yeah, you were all over that.
Well, Daniel Murphy's going to provide a big bang to this Cubs offense, hopefully. No, you mentioned it when we played the Nats at our place. The Johnny Galecki comp.
In the dirt that time. Murphy missed the first 64 games of the season with the Nationals, recovering from right knee surgery. Got off to a bit of a slow start, but he's been hot as of late and hits that one foul out of play, and had a big series recently at Wrigley Field where he always hits. He went 7 for 12 with a double and a home run.
Yeah, 372 over his last 11 ball games, and taking it a little further over his last 22, batting 361. He doesn't walk a lot. But a high average hitter with power, hangs in there real well against left-handed pitching.
Took that one just low, and he has run it full.
There you see Murphy since 2016, left-handed batters versus left-handed pitchers. He is second only to Charlie Blackmon.
3-2 is hit in the air out in the deep left, and just in front of the warning track, it's Matuk to make the catch. So Murphy flies out in his first at bat as a Cub, and here's Baez.
He's got great hands, sees the ball very well, uses the whole field, and he was a high average hitter when he was establishing himself with the Mets, and then 2-3 years ago he started to launch the ball too, started to hit for a lot more power.
Baez playing short, takes low. Addison Russell on the DL. The finger injury is the main reason, but he's also dealing with a sore right shoulder as well. Deep right center, still going back, and making the grab is Reyes on the warning track. A couple of deep flyouts to start the game.
It's a big yard. It's a good place to pitch if you keep the ball in the middle of the diamond. If you're a fly ball pitcher, got some speedy outfielders that can run under and make plays for you.
So 2 down, and it will bring up Anthony Rizzo as Reyes goes over his scouting report. Now Russell officially a sprained left middle finger, now on the 10-day DL.
Left-handed batters hitting only 141 against Liriano this year.
A bunt. Liriano will scoop, and that's it for the Cubs in the opening inning. It's John Lester against the Tigers offense when we come back. Former Cub Jamer Candelario will lead it off. Jose Iglesias, the shortstop, batting second. Castellanos with an RBI groundout ended up being the game winner. Goodrum, Martinez, Matuk in the middle. The catcher McCann, and rookies at the bottom, Rodriguez and Reyes.
Cubs defensively, outfield of Happ, Almora, Hayward, Bodie third, Baez short. And the new guy, Murphy, at second. Rizzo's at first. Contreras behind the plate. And our Blue Cross Blue Shield starting pitcher is John Lester. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. Start number 26 for the big lefty. 13-5, 3.72.
Candelario swings away and pops it up. It is Baez, the shortstop, now on the back pedal for the out.
4-pitch mix for John Lester. Fastball, he'll throw both sinkers and four-seamers, cutter, curve, and change. And for a while there, he had stayed away from the changeup, and he used that effectively last time out against Pittsburgh, in which he pitched 6 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts.
Jose Iglesias, the shortstop, a former teammate of John's in Boston. Lester in the past had faced some pretty good Tiger lineups, and they got to him a lot. He has a career 6.05 ERA against Detroit in 11 starts. That's the highest ERA for Lester against any opponent. But again, this is a much different Tiger ball club.
Different group, yeah.
No Miguel Cabrera in their lineup tonight. And that's a big break for John. Cabrera's 14 for 26 against Lester in his career.
Tigers are the only team that John has 5 decisions against and a losing record. You look at his career splits. He's beaten anybody he's faced a decent amount of time. He has a winning record against, except for this Tiger ball club.
He did pitch well against them in the ALCS in 2013, however. So when it counted the most, he was at his best. 2-2 on Iglesias.
Well, this group in here tonight, Castellanos, the guy on deck, 5 out of 9 with 3 home runs against John, and Victor Martinez, 8 out of 19, a .421 batting average.
A roller right to Baez. That's out number 2. And it will bring up Castellanos. Final game of a 4-game season series. The Cubs swept the Tigers in a 2-gamer at Wrigley in early July. Detroit a 2-1 win last night. Brewers won earlier today. Cardinals won late last night. Both teams 2.5 games out.
Cardinals have won 8 consecutive series.
In there for a strike.
Picked up about 5 games in the standings over the last couple of weeks. And they've been unbelievably hot.
The 0-1 is lined into left. Happ over to get it. Castellanos is going to try for 2. Going to be a play on him, and he is safe. It's a double. And he's now 6 for 10 against John, and batting about .400 against lefties this year.
Yeah, he was the American League Player of the Week last week. Prior to that, he'd been in a bit of a funk. This is good base running here with 2 outs. You want to really try to push it to get into scoring position. So good decision by Castellanos. Not a bad play at all by Happ.
Now Nico Goodrum, switch hitting second baseman, 0 for his last 12. Swing and a miss on the curveball. What a night. 74
Beautiful
degrees
night.
at game time.
Can't play tonight, you can't play. Pack your bags and go home.
Good block by Wilson. He and John have teamed up to do a terrific job against other teams' base stealers over the last couple of years. Two and one the count. We're back home tomorrow to play the Reds. 7-game homestand, Cincinnati and the Mets. Bounced foul, third base side.
Good pitching matchup tomorrow. Cole Hamels will go for the Cubs. Anthony DeSclafani for Cincinnati. He's really been throwing the ball well. And it looks like if they don't change their rotation, Cubs are going to catch Syndergaard and DeGrom in the first 2 games of the Mets series.
V-Mart, Victor Martinez is on deck. This might be the last time we see him play in person, likely to retire at the end of the year. And it's been a very good career for Martinez. On pause at the set. Now the 3-2 called. Strike 3. Got the call on the inside corner, and we're scoreless after an inning. Game Zone to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and info while watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. See Ford Field in the background. And brand new Little Caesars Arena. It's a very short walk from here. So all 4 major sports teams are all within just about a 2 or 3 block radius here in downtown Detroit now. They've done a really nice job. 1-1 on Ben Zobrist. He's the DH tonight. It was Tommy La Stella last night. Bouncer to third, handled by Candelario. 4 up, 4 down for Liriano, and he'll face Jason Hayward with 1 out.
We've seen Liriano really good at times. The last few times he's pitched against the Cubs, not so much. He was solid earlier this year. But when he's at his best, it's that fading changeup slider combination comes out of his hand, much like you think about John Lester with the tunneling effect. The ball comes out of the hand, very difficult to the last minute to read the movement of that pitch. He goes east and west very well.
Yeah, he is not like last night's Tigers starter Jordan Zimmerman in that he is not a strike thrower. But he's ahead of Hayward 0-2.
Yeah, and normally you would think against a Cubs team that works a lot of walks, that would really play to their strength. But right now they're scuffling, and they're going to be more inclined to try to swing their way out of it, and that plays to his strength.
Called strike 3.
Every W counts, so everybody in. We've hit the stretch run, and the Cubs need your support as they chase another NL Central title. The Cubs return home tomorrow night. 4-game set with the Reds and then 3 with the Mets. Tickets are still available for the homestand, especially Friday and Sunday with Cincinnati. Get your tickets at Cubs.com.
So you got a veteran guy who's had success in his career, but not this year. He hasn't won in his last 14 starts. His last victory was in Baltimore on April 28th. You're pitching for a team that is 22 games under 500. It's what you do for a living, but it takes some fortitude to keep your chin up, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's not all been miserable in terms of his performances in that stretch. Obviously, he's had some good games with no run support. Again, overall, it has not been real good. His last few, he has posted a high ERA. August, he has a 6.94 earned run average.
The 2-1 to Almora is hit in the air to right. Chasing after it is Castellanos into the corner. He won't get it. It'll be a double. It hit the warning track and then bounced into the stands. So Almora has the Cubs' first hit, a 2-out double here in the second.
Last night it was an Anthony Rizzo home run and a handful of singles. Power has really been lacking aside from these solo home runs they've been hitting of late. Haven't backed up many outfielders, and Albert able to drive one the other way for 2 bases. And they have not had a base hit with a runner in scoring position for quite some time.
So this road trip, a major league first, 5 consecutive games with 1 run in each, and each run coming in on a solo shot. The Cubs are fortunate to have won 2 of these 5. David Bodie homered off Liriano on July 4th. That was the first of his career. David trying to end an 0 for 18.
Wilson Contreras got Liriano in that ball game as well. Power changeup fading down and away.
Gets the sign from his catcher McCann. And the 2-1 is low. 3-1.
Maybe Liriano's just setting himself up to win another Comeback Player of the Year award. He's won it twice, the only player to ever do that. 34 years of age. He's been in the league a long time. He was just a kid when he came up with the Twins.
He walked him.
Good discipline there by Bodie.
So a 2-out threat, and it will bring up Contreras. Yeah, Liriano's had a strange career. And a real promising start. Some rough years in the middle. And then in 2013 really got locked in with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Low and inside on Contreras. You look at all of Liriano's stops, and he's pitched for 6 teams. There's one that really stands out, and that is his time with the Pirates. Way better there than anywhere else.
Well, yeah, and wasn't the narrative then that Ray Searage had done a lot of work with him? Strikeout numbers spiked. I remember when he first came up, it was electric. That was 06. He was just 22. Actually, he debuted the year before when he was 21. He was an all-star at the age of 22, his first full year in the league. Time to check out our Lexus Run Predictor, brought to you by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Cub hitters have come through 16% of the time.
We were talking about that Run Predictor with Kirk Gibson just before we went on the air. He's really fascinated by the run matrix. Inside for a ball. Gibby on Tigers television. And he says he really has enjoyed digging into the new analytics. He said, when I was a young outfielder with the Tigers, Sparky told me, a runner at second base, you don't throw to the plate in the first 6 innings from the outfield, no matter what. Swing and a miss. He said, what if I get a 1-hopper? He goes, run it to second base. Contreras
was right. Don't mess with Sparky.
Contreras strikes out, and we're scoreless early from Detroit. Powered by Xfinity. Chris Bryant out doing some early work and took some BP. Joe Madden said it looked really good. So hopefully he will be nearing a possible rehab assignment and get him back healthy and on the active roster. A strike called on Victor Martinez. He had a nice night last night with 3 hits. Knocked in a run with a first inning single. One of the hits was a bunt single. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. Right field corner, and it must be foul. Martinez still in the box.
Tigers have 4 switch hitters in their batting order tonight, including the veteran Martinez, hitting .240 as a right-handed batter.
He's now 39. This is his 16th major league season. 8 years with Cleveland. Couple with Boston and a roller in the center. And these last 7 as a Tiger. And he has been an all-star at all 3 stops. 5 times in all.
Well, trying to go down and away here, and they make their pitch, but he's able to reach out and poke it into center field.
Guess he's got a ranch in Florida that he will run when he hangs it up. Turns 40 in December. And this is the final year of his contract. You want to know what I think?
A working ranch? Is it a dude ranch?
I think a working ranch. You know what I think the most interesting note about Victor Martinez in his career is?
No.
And it's about as obvious as it gets. I'll tell you after the pitch to Matuk. All of it spent in the American League.
Yeah.
And with all the interleague play and guys bounce back and forth between leagues, you got a guy who's been doing it for 16 years in one league.
Sure. How long has he been strictly a DH?
For a while now. I think at least the last, I'll look it up, last 6-7 years, I'm going to say.
Yeah, because with a lot of these guys, they get to a point in their career where the defensive work is such that it only works as a DH.
You know, he'll play occasional first base, although he hasn't in a couple seasons, but mainly DH since, yeah, really 2011, 2012.
It's kind of old school because when the DH first came along, that's mostly who they were, and that's what the understanding was, that they, that would be veteran guys who, didn't maybe have their legs under them anymore, but could still hit. Tony Oliva type, those kind of guys. It's not so much the case anymore.
I think the torn ACL, he did not play in 2012. That kind of ended the catching thing. Full count on Matuk.
Find that ground ball. Nope.
Ball 4.
He didn't walk a single man last time. The Chef Series presented by Maker's Mark offers fans a dynamic menu. It's inspired by celebrity chefs and their take on ballpark favorites. The last featured chef of the series is Graham Elliott. Not the chef of the future, but the chef of the series. His signature items will be featured tomorrow through the 29th of August. For details, visit Cubs.com/chef series.
Little trouble here for John. 2 on with nobody out, and the batter is James McCann, the catcher. His first career home run was an inside the park shot in Minnesota in 2015.
Feel compelled to tell you that the triple play is in order.
Well, the double play ball has been a big out for the Cubs pitching on this road trip.
Step it up a notch and go ahead and get 3. Little cutter in on the hands. Sharp one hopper to Bodie. Around the horn they go. That's the one. Swing at that one.
And you've got the base runners to do it, right? Especially Martinez, the lead man, and a catcher as the batter. Are you calling a triple play? I'm not sure a broadcaster ever has.
No,
they tried.
I beg for him all the time.
I guess Jack Brickhouse did once in Pittsburgh in 1972.
Hey, hey. Well,
sounded like he cracked his bat. Happ will come in and make the catch. That's the first out. And then we'll bring up Ronnie Rodriguez, the first baseman. Hasn't hit at this level, but at AAA Toledo, batting .338 this season, has a mud hen. Tigers are fortunate in having their AAA affiliate not far down the road from the big league club. Same goes for the Cubs and their AAA club in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, he was leading the International League with that .338 batting average. He was slugging .558. Decent power numbers throughout his minor league career.
Swing and a miss.
An ugly hack right there.
0-2. John was great his last time out, and he needed it. It was his first win of the second half. The Cubs have won 18 of his 25 starts. The kick in the 0-2 is in the dirt on a curve.
Yep, very efficient. Punched out 8. Didn't walk a man. Real good bite on that last curveball. And go back to his June when he was the pitcher of the month in the National League, and the real key was a real good mix of pitches. He had gotten away from that. Especially under duress, you know, a couple guys on base, you get a real heavy fastball cutter. And in so doing, you become a little bit more predictable, and you also put a lot of pressure on yourself. You have to be so fine, especially when you don't rush it up there at 94, 95 miles per hour.
Tigers don't hit a lot of home runs. They don't get on base a ton. They hit a major league low 99 home runs. Only team who has yet to hit 100. The Yankees have 202. So you feel like, based on those numbers, that if you make them put the ball in play and make them, you know, they've got to string together a bunch of hits to score a bunch of runs. They're not going to walk a ton.
No, it's a pretty easy lineup to pitch to now. Baseball being baseball, you never know.
And that one will drop down. So they do string together a couple of hits. Throw's going to go to third. He is out. As Martinez scores, it's 1-0, but a nice play to get the runner at third base.
Yeah, beautiful play. He's got a lot of momentum carrying him towards center field, and to be able to turn, get that throw off as quickly as he did, as accurately as he did, is most impressive.
So an RBI single for Rodriguez. 7-5 on the put out of Matuk at third base.
Yeah, remember that one. Put a little note in your scorecard.
Yep.
It could prove to be huge.
So it's 1-0, but it could be that score with runners at second and third and one out. Victor Reyes, 2 for 3 in the opener.
He was trying to hit their 100th home run of the season. But yeah, so that conversation we were having about, you look at this lineup, you figure, well, Castellanos dangerous. Everybody else, you can pitch to, but again, any given night in Major League Baseball, these guys are still competent. Bad teams rise up all the time.
Well, and the Cubs have not been swinging the bat well collectively here lately, so you give up a couple and you feel under the gun here if you're John Lester. The 1-1 pitch. Reyes taps foul. Hendricks gave up 2 in the first inning, and that was it. He went 7 in a quality start, but took the loss. Detroit is 33-30 at home. And while they're 22 games under, they are a .500 team against left-handed starters. Two and two the count. That's James Hoy down at first. And clearly Reyes did not go.
The team batting average is 20 points better against lefties than righties.
Now full with 2 outs. Pretty calm night here in Detroit. Flags in center field, not doing a whole lot. And another 3-2. Baez will range to his glove side. And that's it. Lester not happy with himself after giving up a run. It's 1-0 Detroit after 2.
Subway third inning triple play promotion. Text Subway to 97999 right now, and the 300th texter will win a $30 gift card to a Subway restaurant in the Chicagoland area. Subway, so much sandwich.
Yeah, a lot of students getting ready to either head back or head off to college. Making a detour maybe tonight here in Detroit. Maybe they're going to Detroit Mercy or Wayne State.
Grand Valley State University. That's right across the street. I see the sign right there in that building.
Wow. That's the advertisement for it, yes.
It's a small school.
Across the state, but yes. Happ strikes out.
It's over there in Grand Valley.
This replay is brought to you by IDOT, reminding you that safe driving habits really are a matter of life or death. Learn more at lifeordeathillinois.com. Daniel Murphy homered in every game of the NLCS, was the MVP in 2015. And it didn't seem to matter who was pitching or where the game was.
Didn't he go deep in 6 consecutive postseason games?
He did. And he bounces into a 4-3 out here. 0 for 2 tonight. They set the all-time playoff record by homering in 6 in a row.
I should have been calling him Mr. October, not Reggie.
Baez with 2 outs. Cubs trailing 1-0 here in the 3rd. You mentioned Liriano at times has pitched well even during this winless streak. One of those times was at Wrigley in a loss on July 4th. Candelario, quick exchange, and a 7-pitch 3rd inning for Liriano. Tigers 1, Cubs nothing.
If you had one shot.
Blog at WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side. Ex-Cub Jeimer Candelario takes a strike. He's got a World Series ring. 5 games, 14 plate appearances for the eventual champs in 2016. Traded here last year. And getting a chance to play every day. He's 24 years old. And the 1-1 from Lester is whistled into center and a base hit.
Third inning begins as the second did, a leadoff knock. And it go down and away, and that ball cuts right over the heart of the plate.
Here's the shortstop, Iglesias.
Iglesias, old school two-hitter. He hit batted eighth a lot of the season. Now he's up in the 2 spot, but his profile fits in this 2 spot. Again, old school. Teams used to hit and run a lot. You wanted a guy up there who could handle the bat, didn't strike out much, didn't necessarily have to work a lot of walks, but he had to be able to go out and put balls in play out of the zone. Iglesias fits the bill. Again, probably less important in the modern game.
Curve on the outside corner. 1-1. Big lead over at first by Candelario, and a whiff. 1-2. Cubs last night started a stretch of 23 in a row without a day off. First 9 against teams that are under 500, then 10 of 14 against contenders. In the air, Almora in center. Will one-hand it. And let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Back here in Detroit, Cubs here for the first time since 2015. One nothing Tigers here in the third. Castellanos with a double, his first time up. Mentioned his numbers against lefties, .397 going into tonight. The pitch, little jam shot, pop up. Murphy can't get it. Candelario will hold at second. A perfectly placed blooper into right, and a good read by Candelario. I thought he might try for third. As he took off, he would have been an easy out in terms of a double play if Murphy had made the catch.
Yeah, he had to hesitate a little bit to kind of read this ball to make sure it was going to get down. Some kind of not running with a lot of conviction initially because you can't afford to get doubled off there. And the mistake you make is you say, well, now I'm really going to turn it on and get to third base. And if you do that, you're asking for trouble with Hayward out there in right field.
Two on for Goodrum. And the curve catches the corner. Look, you lose some range when you don't have the Russell Baez combo in the middle, but Daniel Murphy is here to hit. Mentioned right knee surgery. Missed a bunch of time to start this season.
Yeah, I was watching him when the Nationals were in Chicago. You know, his straight line running was fine. To me, it seemed like, you know, he's never been a speedster. It looked like he was running well, but the lateral movement, the range at second base, it's never been a strong part of his game anyway, pre-surgery.
Baez will glove. Murphy the turn. Close, but they got him. A 6-4-3 double play. And that'll get Lester out of the third inning. Assuming the Tigers don't challenge. Doesn't look like Ron Gardenhire will. And we'll go to break.
for 4, now with more choices than ever at participating locations for a limited time.
Liriano to Rizzo, and he takes a strike. And Riz just said to Alfonso Marquez, I had that one a little off, meaning off the plate.
Well, Anthony tried to bunt first time up. 5 out of 30 lifetime against Liriano.
Low and away. Cubs held to 1 hit through the first 3 innings. The wind and the 1-1. Low and away again. Just pounding that area against Rizzo.
Well, given Liriano's resume, I suspect there's some scouts on him here tonight contemplating a
line foul.
Maybe making a deal for him to make a couple of starts for a team in September. Seems like he'd be a good candidate. Stuff looks good. Looks like the same guy we've always seen.
2-2 way inside, and Rizzo able to fight it off. I say way inside, it may have caught the plate, but we know Anthony stands right on top of home plate. Well, he gets around on that pitch so quickly. And right into the shift. That's the third baseman, Candelario, to make the play. Time to see who's got momentum, brought to you by First Midwest Bank. First Midwest Bank, connect with a momentum maker today. Cubs 18-9 against left-handed starters, but this is their first try in a couple of weeks. First lefty they've faced in the last 14 games in terms of starting pitchers.
Yeah, and their numbers against left-handed pitching isn't really any better than it is against righties. Just a few points of batting average. Slugging numbers are actually better against right-handed pitching.
Well, it's a sample size small enough to tell you that maybe the Cubs coincidentally have pitched really well in those games.
Yeah.
Or have gotten to that team's bullpen. Candelario back at his normal position to make this play. Boy, we've got good crowd mics here in Detroit. In the last 2 days, you're hearing a lot of frustration.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, we talk about it all the time. You have to be able to turn the page, not let yesterday affect today, but the nature of the sport is it does. It's day after day you're having a hard time putting at bats together. You're not scoring runs. There's some carryover effect. We saw it in the first inning in the ball game last night. Guys slamming the bat into the ground.
So Hayward caught looking in the second. Well, bad here in the fourth with 2 outs, nobody on, and a swing and a miss. Well, it sounds counterintuitive. Why would you go away from your process when you're struggling? Well, I think that the human thing to do is, my process wasn't working in your thought process, so I'm going to try something different, which is probably the last thing you should do.
Well, the try harder, right? You just feel like you have to swing your way out of a funk.
Well, American Legion Week starts tomorrow, from what I understand, back when we get to Chicago. I don't know if there's like if it's like unwritten or if it's actually written down, but the idea is to show up late. Don't do a lot of extra work. Just kind of show and go. And that's a quick 1-2-3 once again for Liriano. 1-0 Detroit in the fourth. With Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Pretty cool moment last night. Just after a moment of silence for Aretha Franklin, they had a picture on the scoreboard and left and a rainbow right behind her. And I know you got a good picture of it. Baez with a long throw, but he had time and he gets Martinez.
Well, and the right guy throwing it and the right guy running. Strong arm, slow body, nice play. Beyond the reach of Bodie, but Baez out there to provide a little support and shallow left.
So 1 out. Now it's Matuk, who walked in the second and later was thrown out trying to go first to third on the RBI hit by Rodriguez.
Tigers have had base runners in every inning so far. 5 hits and a walk. John has struck out just 1. He caught Goodrum looking back in the first.
0-2. Matuk was the Tigers' opening day left fielder, but he has spent 3 trips back in the minor leagues, most recently recalled 9 days ago. Foul pop behind the plate, and this will reach the seats. Taken low on a curve. 1-2. Well, we are nearing, JD, the 1-year anniversary of a nasty brawl. Remember the Yankees and the Tigers here last year?
Refresh my memory.
Miguel Cabrera and Austin Romine went at it at home plate.
Yep.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Strikeout number 2 just throws the fastball by Matuk. Yeah, because the Romine brothers, right?
Yeah.
One on each club.
I can't remember where we were. We were watching it as it unfolded. Might have been in the clubhouse, and it was scary. I think McCann got beamed in that game. One ball, no strikes. Yeah, and then Gary Sanchez got into it. You remember there was like a dog pile, and he was running around kind of throwing in shots. You have no recollection of this, do you?
Not no specific details. I remember they had a big fight.
Well, it was like Romine and Cabrera went nose to nose, and it was a shove and then punching, and I mean it was like they were
like a 70s brawl.
They meant it, yeah.
Not most baseball brawls.
It wasn't for
guys
show.
Don't get really angry until there's somebody in between the combatants. Then they get a little spicy.
Two balls and a strike to McCann. Here it comes. Foul tip 2-2.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy that's running around the back of the scrum, sucker punching guys in the back of the head. That's bad form.
Well, you're right. But we both have friends in the game to this day who laugh about brawls they had and the fact that they actually did that.
They were the guy running around the pile.
Yeah, they're saying, oh, yeah, you hear these stories. And I got a shot on this guy. I never liked him.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, but
that had nothing to do with that
somebody.
fight.
But I've seen guys just run around the outside of the pile, just cheap shotting people.
No, you're right. That's bad. McCann foul tips, and the Tigers go in order as we remember the late Aretha Franklin.
I used to feel
What makes you country tour to the friendly confines? It's going to happen on Saturday, September 1st. Opening acts include Sam Hunt, John Party, and Carly Pierce. Tickets are on sale now. Cubs.com/concerts.
Fifth inning, one strike on Almora. The Cubs have one hit. That was Albert's opposite field double. 2 outs in the second. 1-1 to count.
Well, Liriano at his best typically gets a lot of ground balls, and that's been the case here tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ground ball outs already, including all 3 outs in the 4th.
He is 2 for 2. And the Cubs have the leadoff man on base for the first time tonight.
Albert with 2 hits and a walk in the ball game last night, so he's starting to show some signs of life.
Average back to 300 for Albert. Great to catch up with new Hall of Famer Alan Trammell, who actually met David Bodie during the Arizona Fall League. And they got a picture together today. Trammell will have his number 3 retired this weekend. And still has very fond memories of his time wearing a Cubs uniform as Lou Piniella's bench coach. Here's the pitch. It's low. 1-1. It's always high praise when a guy of Alan Trammell's caliber says, I like that kid.
Yeah, he played for Tram, right? And Tram managed the team out there that he played on?
Yeah, and he's now back with the Tigers, and says he works a lot with the younger players in their system. And what a great thing for a young infielder to be coached up on occasion by Alan Trammell. Liriano fires over.
I think Bodie's one of those guys that anybody that's been around the game for a while would appreciate. He's kind of a low maintenance player. He plays hard, does his work. A smart, intuitive player. We'll have to have a lot of conversations the next day and say, you know, you probably should have been thinking this, that, or the other thing as opposed to what you really did. He has very good instincts.
Well, he's going through his first offer at the big league level. It's reached 18 at bats.
We've seen a lot of this right there, David, with that nodding. Yep, okay. That's almost like he's being double crossed with some of the pitches he's seeing, expecting one thing, seeing another, maybe caught a little bit in between.
Inside, Liriano thought it was a strike.
That was the line from Bull Durham. Don't think you could only hurt the ball club, and I think that's what happened with hitters. When they're in a groove, they're not really thinking a whole lot. They're just seeing the ball and reacting. They're comfortable. You start to struggle, you start to press, you start to think. Brain gets in the way of the body.
And pummeled deep to left. It is gone. 4 career homers, half have been against Liriano. And the Cubs, for the first time on the road trip, have scored multiple runs.
Yeah, another home run, this time not a solo shot, however. Almora on base with the lead single. Bodie, who walked last time, delivers the blow. Breaking ball, thigh high and scorched by David Bodie. Good swing. Slump, what slump?
So the 0 for 18 is over. And the Cubs lead 2-1.
There's a whole lot of blue shirts out there in left field.
Still nobody out. A 1-0 on Contreras. 2 balls, no strikes. And maybe Liriano thinking, here we go again. I'm pitching well, but I'm now trailing.
Well, Rick Anderson wants to come out and kind of flip that script in a hurry. So let's not go negative here. You're going along, throwing a good ball game. Got some topspin, and it really fights to fly out of the ballpark. The Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? The distance of that one, 373 feet. Go to WGNTV.com/contest for a chance to win round trip travel for 2 on Southwest Airlines in the United States and Puerto Rico. Change piece
on a 2-0, and it's outside. Three and one.
Yeah, I think Wilson is swinging the bat well right now. He probably would have had a green light there, but he's been scuffling.
He draws the walk. So single homer free pass. And the batter is Ian Happ. The Newborn Fan Club is the perfect gift for parents of new Cubs to showcase what it means to be a Cub for life. Get a photo from a custom birth announcement on the Wrigley Field marquee, Cubs birth certificate, pinstripe baby cap, and a Rookie of the Year Cubs onesie. Visit Cubs.com/kids for more information. Cubs now have homered in 7 consecutive games. That is a season best. Still haven't scored a run on this trip that hasn't resulted from a homer. And a foul bunt by Happ. Ian struck out in the 3rd inning. He's batting 9th tonight.
Yeah, and that's the bunt, not a bad idea there because of the ground ball tendencies of Liriano. You want to stay out of the double play, but the hit and run's a tougher play because it's hard when a guy's not around the plate. And you get a lot of swings and misses with Happ too.
Contreras was leaning and able to get back in time. Happ making his Comerica Park debut. Slide step in an 0-1. It's wide.
So, yeah, be a presence down there at first base. Take an aggressive lead. Force the pitcher to spend a little time thinking about you. And that slide step, effective at shutting down the running game, but sometimes it leads to a bad pitch.
Swing and a miss. Had him out in front. Daniel Murphy on deck. If you just joined us, Murphy making his Cub debut and is 0 for 2 from the leadoff spot. Contreras runs well for a catcher. That is in the dirt. McCann wants a changeup. Crack bat flare for a base hit. And Contreras is going to try to make 3rd, and he's going to be out. Happ will make 2nd, but Wilson makes the 1st out of the inning at 3rd base. He stumbled a little bit around 2nd, but he was a dead duck.
Yeah, he's a little reckless on the bases sometimes. He had no business trying to get to 3rd here because he had to hesitate, much like Candelario earlier in the ball game. Just go ahead and shut it down.
Cubs fortunate they didn't make 2 outs there. But a good job by Happ at least to get the 2nd after Contreras was thrown out. So that's the 1st out. Here's Murphy.
Talk a lot about that fine line between aggressive and reckless. That one crossed the line.
Yeah, and they've done that a bit too often lately.
Sometimes that's a byproduct of struggling.
Let's see who's going places. Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. This is since 2016. He leads the National League in batting average, 8th in on base, 4th in slugging. A huge addition to this lineup. And a ground ball base hit. Here comes Happ around 3rd to score the Cubs' 3rd run of the night. First hit as a Cub for Daniel Murphy. Makes it a 2-run ball game.
sweet single the other way with a man in scoring position. This is what's been really lacking for the Cubs lately. And Murphy, this is Wade Boggs, Rod Carew like that approach.
And the Cubs able to score a run without hitting a home run for the first time in a week. Baez takes outside, 1-0. He is now third in the National League in RBIs with 89. Last night he picked up his team leading 40th multi-hit game. But in general has been struggling the last couple of weeks.
I think they get some action going out there in that Tiger bullpen the way this inning has gone along.
Grounded foul behind home plate. 2-1 to Baez.
Start against the Cubs back on July 4th. Liriano went 6 innings. He has not pitched more than 5 innings since then. Last time out, an inning and 2/3. The 2 starts previous 5 innings. 4 2/3, 3. I mean, a lot of short outings. He did have 1 relief stint in there.
Tommy does not get cheated. Three runs in here in the 5th. Still only 1 out.
Yeah, maybe this crooked number here start to release some of the pressure. The boys can relax a little bit and maybe do some damage. There's Buck Farmer. He made a start the other day for the Tigers. He's one of 8 right-handers they have in their bullpen. They have 1 lefty, Daniel Stumpf.
Two backed him off the plate.
What are these major league clubs going to look like when September comes and rosters expand? There's going to be 16 guys in the bullpen. Three singles and a home run plus a walk in this inning. The only out recorded on the bases when Wilson got a little overly aggressive.
There's a base hit the other way. And Murphy will drop anchor at second. 5 hits, 6 reaches here in the 5th.
When he's down, he gets the ball on the ground. When it's elevated in the air and even soft contact, a little floating line drive. That ball was hit pretty well, but a couple of the other balls in this inning not so much.
Two on for Anthony Rizzo. He homered last night. Empty in 2 tries tonight. Ground ball, Goodrum feeds Iglesias, and they turn a 4-6-3 to end the inning, but the Cubs get 3 runs, 2 on a homer by David Bodie. Line drive into the bullpen and left, and the Cubs lead 3-1.
Go to that place to get to this one.
Fifth, John Lester ready to work to Ronnie Rodriguez. And a strike.
Ronnie Rodriguez, he's a rapper. He is recorded under the name El Felino.
Really?
Yeah.
A bunt, but right to the bag at first.
I'm assuming that's the cat or something along that order. Put it in the scouting report. He bunts for power. The idea was fine. The execution, not so much. We got 44 miles per hour exit velocity on the bunt with a launch angle of 17%.
Have you checked out El Felino's video?
I have not.
Yeah, there's a music video. You can.
I've read about it. I haven't watched it.
Down the right field line and foul out of play.
The story I read, he was either born or living in Massachusetts, and then moved back to the Dominican Republic. Cubs signed him as an international free agent. Then MLB deemed that he should not have been an international free agent. He should have been part of the draft, so he was actually suspended for a year. I think he went to high school here in the States.
Well, Jamer Candelario was born in New York. He grew up in the Dominican, and he did sign with the Cubs as an undrafted free agent in 2010. Right, so let's say you were born in Chicago, grew up in Chicago, and then moved to Venezuela your senior year. They probably would not allow you to sign as a free agent, right?
I don't know exactly what the rules are. If you have to live somewhere for a certain number of years, or because I think he went to high school in the States, at least part-time. I don't know exactly what the rule is.
Full count on Reyes. I don't know I don't know enough about it, and I don't know if you do. There is often a push for an international draft, making all the players from Latin America subject to the draft. Does that sound like something you would be in favor of? I don't know enough about it.
It makes sense to me.
Have a draft, and if you don't get drafted, then you're a free agent?
Yeah,
typical class, right? Check out the variety of luxury premier options Wrigley Field has to offer for your next client. Corporate or family function, like an all-inclusive suite experience. Daily suite rentals are still available for games in September. For details, visit Cubs.com/premier. Part of the issue there, I guess, is some kids sign when they're 16 or 17, right? So you have to figure out a way to work around that.
Right, and that's always been a way out for a lot of young kids growing up in poverty in the Dominican Republic, in Venezuela, anywhere in Latin America. So, you know, if they weren't eligible to be drafted until they were 17 or 18, whatever, it might provide a hardship for those younger players.
High chopper. Baez gets to show off his arm. Rizzo on the bag. Candelario out. Tigers done in the 5th. And are we waiting? I think they got him. 3-1 Cubs.
Anthony came off the bag or not.
True Chicago fans. Stats reporting the Murphy hit snapped the Cubs 0 for 30 with runners in scoring position. That tied for the longest such streak this season. That was the RBI single in the 5th. A few batters after David Bodie hit a go-ahead 2-run homer. 0-2 on Ben Zobrist. Not bad. They're going to have more starting players for spots when everybody's healthy. Right field, Castellanos will not get there. Zobrist on his way to second base. And he's got a double to lead off the inning.
Right back under duress for Liriano as Zobrist punches this one with authority down the right field line. Good to see some outfielders running to the wall here. Joe talking about Daniel Murphy yesterday, saying that with Murphy and Zobrist now, we got two of the best at-bats in the game. Just two guys that really give you a tough AB.
Zobrist now 11 hits away from 1,500 in his major league career. Hayward looks at a pitch off the inside corner. Jason batting fifth tonight. Lineup changing with the addition of Murphy. Russell going to the DL. You've got the DH here in an American League park. With the way Joe has managed throughout his Cubs career, the lineup changes don't feel like a big deal at all, since he makes them quite a bit, trying to maximize things that particular night. Rizzo hitting third tonight, for instance. Zobrist now at third as Hayward bounces to the right side.
Yeah, that was really good work. You could see where a hitter might get greedy there on 2-0, but off a tough left-hander, Hayward making sure he got on top of that ball, hit the ground ball to the right side. That was real good work.
So Ron Gardenhire will go to a right-hander with Almora due when we come back.
Like a fool, I went and stayed too long. I'm wondering if your love's still strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Stevie Wonder. And here's Buck Farmer making his 54th appearance. The Tigers will have their infield in against Almora, who's 2 for 2. Zobrist the runner at third, 1 out. And a strike called.
Sloppy get over curveball there. He's got a real good changeup, does Farmer. He's got a pretty good fastball as well. Because of that changeup, they like him against left-handed hitters. I mentioned earlier they have just the one lefty in their pen, 8 righties.
Liriano going beyond 5 innings. He went 5 1/3 tonight for the first time since that start at Wrigley Field when he went 6. Gave up 3 runs that day and lost the game 5-2.
He's going along nicely here tonight. Just 1 hit through the first 4 and then got ambushed. Cubs with 3 runs on 5 hits on him last inning. Oh, hit the dirt though, didn't it?
Nope. It's, apparently the call is a foul tip.
I thought it was. I thought he got a piece of it. I thought he got the dirt though before McCann caught it.
Joe looked down at James Hoy. He said, "Yep, it was caught. If it hits the dirt, it's foul. If it's caught, it's a foul." Ooh,
bounced.
That hit the dirt, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, McCann sold it. It's a bad call.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because this man standing there on third base with 1 out.
I don't believe that's reviewable. Was that the Curtis Granderson play? The Dodgers and the NLCS. Remember, Joe got really upset. I believe it was a similar type call that he was not allowed to challenge.
Yes, that was it.
So that is not. Yeah, foul tips are not challengeable. I sense sarcasm in your voice.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Well, a chance for David Bodie to be a hero here after that unfortunate strikeout. A tough call against Almora.
Yeah, LA Times story. The headline from Bill Shaken: the curious case of Curtis Granderson and the phantom foul tip. Game 4 last year, Wrigley Field. Let's see if Bodie can take Farmer deep. Line one over the wall and left in the last inning against Liriano. Sharply hit grounder foul. 4th drive of the game.
And quickly out of here into the Tiger bullpen. 110 miles per hour. We talked a lot about David Bodie. Solid contact he's made. He's been scuffling a little bit here lately, but generally he's squared up the ball quite often. Shade him a little bit towards right in the outfield.
Bodie has walked twice and homered tonight. Real good night at the plate for David.
Yeah, and what you really like about the walks, both times coming with men in scoring position, when especially a young guy, you would think would get a little antsy, a little anxious, and maybe go out of the zone, but kind of savvy to what's going on out there. And he said, nope, I'm not going to bite. I'll take my walk, pass the baton to the next guy. Batting average on base kind of in line with what we expect from Wilson. The slugging numbers are down. Last year he had a home run, over 25% of his fly balls, which is near the top of the league, and that number has regressed significantly this year.
Fastball 95 for a strike. Liriano can just sit and watch. As he left trailing 3-1. Contreras 4 for his last 35.
He's trying to peer into Farmer's brain there. Think along with him. What's he going to come with here on 1-1?
Fouled into the Cubs dugout. Three-run fifth gave the Cubs the lead. Their first lead of this series. Trying to end a 3-game losing streak tonight.
Ouch.
No rest coming up. Cubs will play for over 3 weeks before their next off day.
Might be the hardest I've ever seen somebody hit themselves in the head with a bat. Don't do that.
Don't do that at home for sure. This is going to be a tough play. Candelario will eat it. Infield hit to drive in Zobrist. It's 4-1.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but it got the job done. They did cash in that leadoff double by Zobrist. Hayward did a real nice job getting him over. And Contreras goes out of the zone to get that slide ball. And whatever it takes.
And that will complete the record for Liriano tonight, charged with 4 runs in 5 1/3.
Reds, who are up next, play this afternoon against the Brewers. They might be in Chicago by now. Oh, they were in Milwaukee, right? So I'm sure they are. There's the lefty. Stumpf.
He has the word ump in his last name.
No relation to former Yankee manager Stumps Merrill. There's that good changeup.
Murphy RBI hit scoring Happ. That ended a streak of 55 innings for the Cubs, in which all their runs came via the home run. According to Ed Hardig, that was the longest such stretch in the history of the franchise. The home run by Bodie snapped a streak of 55 innings without multiple runs in an inning. Club record for that, 90 back in September of 1963, a team that had Banks, Williams, and Santo. Two and two on Happ.
I think at some point Farmer would go back to the changeup here on Ian.
In the air out in the deep left center, but Matuk has room, and that'll do it. Cubs add to their lead. Bottom 6 behind John Lester. It's 4-1.
Join the team that enjoys responsibly. Budweiser reminds you to drink wiser.
Cubs 4, Tigers 1 to wrap up the season series. Cubs looking for a 3-3 road trip as Jose Iglesias takes a strike. Two, 3, and 4 in the Tiger batting order. Lester gave up a run in the second inning. That's been it. Outside to make it 2-1. Pop foul, no play for Contreras. First game played in this ballpark, April 11th, 2000. Replaced Tiger Stadium. And a base hit to right for Iglesias.
Got on top of that elevated pitch, hit it sharply. First base runner since the Castellanos single back in the third.
Runner at first. Nobody out here in the sixth inning. And they did a really nice job here with Comerica and framing the downtown skyline. Old Tiger Stadium was enclosed. Over at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. Got a lot of statues here too. Pulled in the air to left. Easy play for Happ. That's the first out.
Tomorrow night the Cubs take on the Cincinnati Reds. First pitch 7:05, and if you're one of the first 10,000 early arriving fans, you can take home a Cubs beach towel presented by NBC Sports Chicago. For ticket availability, visit Cubs.com. Yeah, I meant to make it out there to look at the statues, but I didn't. We'll have to, maybe 6 years or so when we come back. By that time, there might be an Alan Trammell statue.
I'll remind you. Yeah, they've got him out in left center above the retired numbers, which will be added to this weekend. I'm guessing that's Ty Cobb with the slide, right? Above his name.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
People were asking on Twitter last night, why is there no number above Ty Cobb's surname? Because he didn't wear a jersey number. He played that long ago.
Yeah, numbers didn't exist. Not only did uniform numbers not, but numbers, period. The Georgia Peach. Hard-nosed player. He went on to have a very successful post-playing career. Made a lot of money on Coca-Cola. I think he invested in Coke. Sounds right. No, the numbers thing. It was the Yankees. Mid-20s, right? When they,
according to their batting order, right?
Brought in the numbers. Yeah, Ruth 3, Garrett 4.
The 2-1 pitch. Goodrum fouls. Steve Cishek is up in the Cubs bullpen as Lester has hit the 90 pitch mark. Talking with Jim Hickey today, he said, last night Kyle Hendricks able to go 7, in part and mainly because this is an American League style. He was not taken out for a pinch hitter because he wasn't in the lineup. Baez can't get it. That's a base hit. First and second for Victor Martinez.
Yeah, and Kyle, he never really looked vulnerable. He had some base runners along the way after giving up those 2 runs in the first, but at no point did you think like he was losing his stuff or his command.
There's the Cubs pitching coach, Chicago native Jim Hickey. Cubs need to find a starting pitcher for Friday's Game 2 against the Reds. They have not announced who that will be. It sounds like they are not going to do the intentional bullpen start. And that would be because Mike Montgomery is on the disabled list. Tyler Chatwood took his start the last turn, but only went 2 innings plus. Two 2-0 now on Martinez. Anthony DeSclafani will pitch for the Reds against Cole Hamels, who's been great so far as a Cub.
DeSclafani has been throwing the ball very well of late.
To come up with a scouting report against DeSclafani, he hit a grand slam against the Cubs back in June. Swing and a miss. 2-1.
Cubs are 10-6 against the teams in the American League this year. The NL Central has dominated the American League Central. The AL Central historically bad.
Is it the match game? How bad is it? It's so bad.
Old man Periwinkle.
2-2. Keep this in mind. The 1994 American League West, every team was under 500, and the Central this year has been worse.
Yeah. Collectively a .431 winning percentage. Cleveland the only team above 500. And Kansas City barely playing above 300 baseball.
That'd be pretty good if it's your batting average, but not your winning percentage.
They and Baltimore have already been eliminated.
Rip, foul. Foul to left.
Well, the earlier swings in the sequence, Martinez looked like he was in pull mode. John might want to try to go a little backdoor cutter or fade that changeup down and away. So you can see where some of the the wild card clubs would have a legitimate beef complaining about the softness of the schedule, but that's just the nature of the unbalanced schedule of interleague play. Sometimes one division has a more favorable schedule than another.
Popped up. Rizzo will give chase, but no play to be made. All the major league teams released their tentative 2019 schedules today, and the Cubs will open in Texas, so they'll have the DH for that series starting March 28th. The home opener once again will be against the Pittsburgh Pirates on April 8th, and you see the Cubs will play the White Sox and the American League West in interleague play. They'll also play the Pirates in Williamsport. One little quirk in the schedule, and it's still tentative. I saw an off day on a Friday before we play the White Sox in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I think a couple clubs had that this year. The Cubs play the 4th of July in Pittsburgh, and right now the next day, the Friday after that, it's scheduled off. Good pitch. Wow.
Lester really wanted it.
Good looking pitch. Right over the heart of the plate at the notch of the knees. Marquez said no.
Iglesias, bottom of your screen, the runner at second. Goodrum is at first. And this will be the 100th pitch of the night for John. And here it is. Popped him up. Martinez just hit himself in the helmet as Rizzo makes the catch and foul ground. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. That will be Lester's final pitch of the night. And he will exit with a 4-1 lead in the 6th. Came out, Brian Butterfield telling him nice job, Joe Madden. And it'll be the bullpen the rest of the way with a 4-1 lead. Here's Steve Cishek.
Well, Steve Cishek has been very, very dependable all season long. This thing a sub-2 ERA, 3-1 with a 175 to be exact. League bat's just 181 against the Sidewinder.
And what's the deal with guys hitting themselves in the helmet? Contreras. And then Martinez.
Bobby Bonilla is the first guy I remember doing that with any regularity.
Good call. 2 on, 2 out, and Mikey Matuk the batter.
Ken Giles, the reliever for the Astros, punched himself in the face coming off the field earlier this year.
Slings it in there for a strike on a fastball.
1 run and responsible for the 2 that are on base. Steve Cishek's job to make sure they stay right where they are.
Not to get all philosophical on you, but is he really responsible for them now? They would be charged to him.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure it's his responsibility at this point. It's really more on the reliever.
He is rule book responsible.
Yes, that's true. A topper, Cishek with a late break. Out at first. Matuk pointing into his dugout. A bang play at first. Cishek just a little bit of a delay before he got over there.
Wow. Well, it's third out if it's an out, and I don't know if the Tigers are going to challenge it. I'm not sure the Cubs on the field know how many outs there are.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they knew it was the third out. We wait. And Ron Gardner
now they decide to
challenge.
This needs to be tightened up. This for me, this is a pretty easy. Let's go ahead and challenge this at this stage of the game. As close as that was, one look from the video room said, "Yeah, let's challenge it. We're down 3 runs. Got a chance to put an inning together." I'm not sure why there was the.
He looks safe-ish.
Lengthy delay,
but is there enough? If we go back 1 frame, it looked like the white spikes were on the bag before Cishek got his down, but the initial call was out. Right there. Is that enough?
I don't see anything there that would convince me to flip this call, regardless of, whatever the initial call should stand here.
Heel, yeah. I'm with you. And based on the initial call, stands seems to be the leader in the clubhouse, but you never know.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot this year, where it looks like when they review it in New York, they're just going with what they think happened and disregarding what the call on the field was. And probably be a lot of folks that would disagree with me on that point. Well, somebody's going to win a gold. Somebody's going to get a silver here. Those Olympic sprints or the swimming races that come down to the thousandth of a second.
Well, half the Cubs team is in the dugout. And they were right. 4-1 at the end of 6. shot of downtown Detroit and Little Caesars Arena, the new home of the Pistons and Red Wings. And Daniel Stump, the left-hander, will work against the Cubs here in the 7th. Cubs lead by 3. Looking for a series split.
Stump has had his struggles with a 6.59 ERA, league batting .316 against him. A whip of 1.9. That's a lot of traffic. 36 hits, 16 walks, and 27 in the 3rd innings of work.
Murphy 1 for 3 with an RBI single in the 5th.
Fastballs, sliders from the left-hander from Humboldt, Texas, outside of Houston. Came into this season with a little over a year of major league service time.
The call officially stood. Call stands as the result from the replay to end the 6th inning. Could not definitively see that Matuk's foot got there before Cishek's. I wonder if we will get to the point where teams will find out who the replay officials are and get their tendencies. This crew in New York tends to be a little looser with the definitive nature of a replay.
Let's hope not.
Well, I mean, everybody's different, and I don't know how you can't have some differences in the interpretation of video.
Right, and that's why I would say if I were MLB, I wouldn't let clubs know who's back there in that room.
I don't think they do, and I think that's probably the right call. A fly to left, and it's Matuk for the out.
Hey, Cub fans, join the Cubs season ticket holder waiting list. Do it today. Claim your spot in our lineup for season tickets. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list. I think there's going to be some changes to replay. There's been a lot of grumbling about it around the game. I know the commissioner is concerned about pace of play. I wouldn't be surprised to see the replay protocol changed a little bit next year.
Strike called on Baez. 3 hits in the series, including a single his last time up. Poke foul. That stung. Way in. And a pop fly into center. Baez just hit himself. That's 3 for 3. Are you kidding? It's an epidemic.
It was a more subtle blow to the head this time. Just a little dismiss of the bat and give myself a shot while I'm at it. There is a herd mentality in this game.
Yeah, there is. Carl Edwards Jr. up in the bullpen.
It's a big anniversary on the baseball calendar. One of my favorite days of the year. It's Chicken Wolf Day. Jimmy Van Winkle, Chicken Wolf, on this date in 1886 hit a walk-off home run when a dog got onto the field and got into the pant leg of Abner Powell, the center fielder, who was trying to make a play on Chicken Wolf Drive. That's what we need in the game today, more stray dogs in the outfield.
Cubs retired Ernie Banks, number 14 on this date, 1982. Foul fly. Foul, speaking of Chicken Wolf.
Here's one, 1-2. Here's a little baseball brain teaser you can play with your friends at home. I believe this is the only occurrence of this ever happening. The Senators in 1915 scored a run without an official at bat. Walk, sack bunt, sack fly, base runner thrown out, taking a big turn at second base.
Oh, so the entire inning went 3 outs and a run.
And a run without an official at bat.
Oh, that's great.
Now that's an odd set of circumstances, but you think of all the games that have been played over so many years, you would think it would have happened more than once.
Three and two. You know what that was tonight? That was our 7th inning stumpfer.
That's what it was.
Full count on Rizzo. Sharply hit. Goodrum knocks it down, and that's all he can do.
That's the thing about the shift, and when you play out in shallow right field, you knock the ball down. You don't have the time to make the play that you would if you're playing normal depth. Play that should have been made, but
it's an error. Charge to Goodrum.
Daniel Murphy's former club, the Nationals, trail the Phillies 6-5 tonight, middle of the 6th. Steven Strasburg came off the DL to make his first start in a while. Gave up 3 in the first, 5 total in 4 innings of work.
Oh, 0-2 on Zobrist.
Matt Adams is gone. Daniel Murphy's gone. That's still a good Nationals lineup they're running out there with Eaton and Turner and Harper and Rendon and the Soto kid. But it looks like it's going to be awfully tough for the Nationals to make a run here. They're sitting right at 500, 7.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves entering play tonight. Meanwhile, in Detroit, there's a right-handed reliever getting ready. His name is Alex Wilson. He's actually been scuffling a little bit here lately.
One and two.
They're following a couple games behind the Atlantas, who have a 2-1 lead over the Pirates in the 9th. You know, a Mets club that we're going to see next week, they've been playing pretty well lately. They've been scoring a bunch of runs anyway.
We're going to see 4 of the top 5 teams in that division here coming up.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Mo Howard, Curly Howard, and Larry Fine. Ram Trucks. Guts Glory Ram back home to play the Cincinnati Reds this weekend. Night game tomorrow and then day action the rest of the series. The great Smokey Robinson.
But Dad, it's Smokey.
A strike called on James McCann. There's a great David Moranis book called Once in a Great City. It's not about Motown specifically, but the Motown movement here is a big part of the book, but it's about the city of Detroit in the early to mid 1960s. And it's a great read if you're looking for something to read.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Did you know Detroit was a finalist for the 1968 Olympics that went to Mexico City?
I did not know that.
Yes. It's in the book. Cubs lead by 3 late.
Cubs hang on, and John Lester wins. It will be his 14th. We'll tie him with Aaron Nola for second best in the NL, 2 behind Max Scherzer.
Hit out in the deep center. Tracking is Almora, and he's got it. You got to hit it a long way to get it out of here in that part of the ballpark. 420 to straightaway center.
Looks like John will be lined up to pitch against Noah Syndergaard on Monday if the Mets rotation holds true. Here's El Felino.
Oh, 2.
Oh, why?
Sheck was doing the walk-off.
Oh, my goodness.
1 and 2.
Maybe anticipating ball there on 0-2.
That was right there, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Now look at our Xfinity pitch cast. That was pitch number 3.
So I wonder if an umpire's influence before that pitch, how Wilson kind of came up a little bit and set that high target. If an umpire sees him setting up there, so okay, they're going to throw the elevated fastball, and you just anticipate ball out of the zone.
Oh, look out. Real late swing, and Jim Hickey and Joe Madden in harm's way. Yikes. Quick feet. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That would have been a ton of strikeouts in this game. That is the 4th for Cubs pitching. The Tigers with 4. And in this era of strikeouts, it stands out. Reyes takes a slider. Strike 1.
Well, both the starters, Lariano and Lester, not big strikeout pitchers.
This game has felt much more comfortable than the last few days when the Cubs were not scoring runs. They've got 4 tonight.
And that's, for me, that's the magic number, right? And that's the Cubs have offensively been inconsistent this year. Overall, the numbers are good, but they've had a lot of games where they've scored 10 plus. They've also had a lot of games where they've scored 3 or fewer, and it's that magic happy zone there, 4, 5, 6. With consistency, it's kind of what you're looking for.
We go to the 8th. Cubs lead 4-1. As we play the 8th inning.
Oh for 3 for Hayward tonight, but a real good plate appearance back in the 6th after Zobrist led off with a double. Pulled the ball to the right side against Liriano and got him over to third. Zobrist eventually scored run number 4.
Stumpf in his 2nd inning of work. Stumpf over there, but it'll be caught by Iglesias, the shortstop. A bona fide player tonight, John Lester. Wrap your hands around the original Italian beef of the Chicago Cubs at one of the 25 Bona locations.
So 11 2/3 on this road trip. Just 1 run allowed for John. Looking for a second W. Beat the Pirates 1-0 last time out.
Pitching change. 8th inning. We'll be back. Right-hander Alex Wilson.
Alex is pitching for the 46th time. He has a 4.04 ERA. He throws a cut fastball a lot. Over 50% of the time he'll throw that cutter. He'll also sink it. Occasional change, occasional slider. Mostly sinkers and cutters.
Almora chops to the shortstop, Iglesias. And Albert's out at first.
This is pretty smooth out there at short.
Big night for Bodie. 2 walks and a go-ahead 2-run homer. Line shot that'll hold up for Castellanos. Children by the millions sing for Alex Wilson. 4-1. Top story, Cubs pitcher uses a bullpen cart. More coming up on the news.
Somebody's got to be a leader. Step out there and take the ride. It's the Motor City, baby.
Kyle Hendricks says, I love it. Here's CJ after Steve Cishek faced 4, retired all of them.
Fairly routine for Cishek. An outstanding performance by him as you peruse the numbers on the string bean slinger. This is Players Weekend coming up, right? You get to wear the
it is, yeah.
the uniforms with their nicknames on the back. I think that's what Carl goes by.
Now, I don't know. Does it start tomorrow or Friday?
I don't
Cubs
know.
have a 4-game series.
I don't know.
Edwards with a 1-0. A little high. 4-1 against a struggling offense. Feels comfortable, but that can change in a hurry. Get a couple guys on.
Well, when it goes south for Carl, it's usually not giving up a lot of hard contact. It's usually command issues.
I guess it starts Friday, by the way. The Fun Players Weekend uniforms.
Uh-oh.
As I was saying, don't want to give them any life here. Leadoff walk to start the bottom of the 8th.
Recalibrate, get back on top. Trying to find the bottom of the zone. Or any part of the zone for that matter. Iglesias likely taking all the way here. At least he should be down 3. A guy who doesn't hit for power.
And Contreras now will head up that dirt path.
Jim Hickey's going to be right on his heels too. Stay back a little longer, get that arm up. Maybe try curveball just to change the feel a little bit.
It would be a good motivational tactic if the Tigers were struggling in terms of the pitching, to have the pitching coach point at that dirt path and yell at his pitchers. You see how many times your catchers had to go out there this year? That used to be grass.
Wearing a path out here. Well, got it down a little bit, but missed the outside edge. Don't guide it, let it go.
Two and one. Justin Wilson, a former Tiger.
The Justin Wilson reunion tour. We just came from Pittsburgh where his career started.
Popped up, third base side. Bodie in foul territory. Well, that's a big out because Castellanos coming up. You did not want him as a potential tying run with his 18 home runs.
Yeah, this would seem to be, the most precarious situation here. We're in the 8th. They got a man on. They got Castellanos coming up. The kid behind him, Goodrum's got a little pop. So those nights where the 9th should be easier than the 8th. I didn't talk to Joe today. Get an update on Brandon Morrow. Anything new on the Brandon Morrow front?
I guess he headed home early. He's having some more tests. One and one on Castellanos.
The frustration, you can see it in the body language of Edwards.
Fouled out of play. And we heard Brandon the other day talk about, he might be kind of battling whatever he's got going on in his arm for the rest of the year. And it's just he said at the time, a question of kind of tolerating it. But we'll, I guess, have some more tests done back home this weekend. It doesn't take as long, obviously, for a reliever to come back as it would be for a starter to stretch out. But again, as we get closer to September, I start to wonder. And hopefully he will be back at some point here late. Base hit to left. And that will get the tying run to the plate. A 3-hit night for Castellanos.
Well, if you're a Tiger hitter and you're watching Carl here, you know you're going to see something up in the zone. So you tell him top hand emphasize, try to get on top. Don't try to launch that ball. You're going to be underneath it and hit a lazy fly ball. And Joe just doesn't like the look here. He's going to go get Wilson.
So they will turn Goodrum around. 4-1 in the 8th.
Experience to catch every moment this season. Get Cubs home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today.
So the ex-Tiger will face Nico Goodrum with 2 on and 1 out. Carl Edwards kind of lightening things up by coming in on the bullpen cart, but leaving in frustration.
I just hope he doesn't give up on the cart concept.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Don't let one bad outing influence your cart decision in the future, Carl.
When we go to Arizona, he'll have another opportunity.
Justin Wilson was a Tiger all of 2016 and 42 appearances last year before being traded over to the Cubs. At a 268 with the Tigers last year prior to the trade. He struggled in a Cub uniform. He's bounced back this year to post a 3.15. Celebrated a birthday just a few days ago, his 31st. Played his college ball at Fresno State, was the winning pitcher in the championship game of the College World Series a few years back.
Has the advantage on Goodrum. Still 0-2. 28-286. A paid crowd here at Comerica tonight.
The Tigers averaging a little over 23,000 per home date. Ooh, good pitch.
Well, a half swing grounder to Rizzo and a bobble, and everybody's safe. And the bases are loaded. It's amazing how often you get a totally awkward swing results in a totally awkward play.
Yeah, a ball with not a whole lot of pace on it sometimes leads to a little funky play defensively. Anthony originally wanted to go to second, couldn't make the transfer cleanly, and then had no other options, had to eat it.
An error on Rizzo, and the batter is Martinez with the bases loaded here in the 8th inning.
Here comes Joe.
That will be it for Wilson. Strings are being pulled here late. Trying to get out of this 8th inning. We'll be right back. Joey Votto for Players Weekend. You can write I think it's the patch. That's what the patch on the sleeve, and you can write a short message. This is from a World War I poem in Flanders Fields. Pretty cool. He is eligible to come off the DL on Sunday. It was written by a Canadian.
Grow, row on row, or in Flanders Fields, where poppies grow.
John McCrae, the poet who wrote it, from Ontario, as is Joey Votto. So Strop might be trying to get a 5-out save. Bases loaded. Martinez will turn around at bat left-handed with the bases full and 1 out here in the 8th.
Yeah, we said earlier that the 8th may prove to be tougher than the 9th. Indeed, it has. Although we don't know yet what the 9th is going to look like, but this is pretty dicey here in the home half of the 8th.
And Martinez has been in a good stretch. In this series, he has 4 hits, 424 over his previous 10 games.
And Strokes has been on a nice roll too. He's picked up 7 saves in his last 9 appearances.
The 1-0 is hit in the air to center. Candelario ready to tag, and he's going to hold. Throw cut off, throw to second, safe. They almost got Castellanos. 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, Castellanos almost a terrible base running decision here. A good throw low enough where Anthony could cut it. Slings that ball to second base. Bang, bang.
No challenge coming. Jim Adduci will hit for Matuk.
As shallow as that ball was, if this is a 1-run game, I think you go send there from third base, but down 3 made sense to be cautious.
Here's the pitch. Outside on a fastball. Cubs lead 4-1. We're in the 8th inning. Tigers have the bases loaded. Check swing, he held. Adduci came into this series hot. He went 0 for 3 last night. Swung at ball 3. 2-1.
Well, he was guessing heater. Way out in front of that slide ball.
Walk, single, and an error. Setting it up for the Tigers in this inning. 3-1. Well, you say it all the time. A bases loaded walk sometimes can be better than a 2-run double or a grand slam. Don't want to just give him a cookie here. And that is ball 4. So it's now 4-2. That run will be charged to Edwards. Now, unfortunately, the tying run is in scoring position. And the batter is McCann.
One of those weird nights, you know, the Cubs have been struggling to score runs over the last handful of games. Tonight they finally break out, not in a big way, but post 4. The bullpen that has been so reliable, the defense that has been so reliable. A little shaky here.
0-1 on McCann. Ground ball toward the middle. Baez has it. He will throw to first. And that's it. They do get a run on the walk. But Stroth able to limit the damage. Cubs lead 4-2 after 8. Detroit Cobras with the cha-cha twist. 4-2 here in the ninth. The Ducey stays in and plays first base. And the new pitcher, Victor Alcantara.
15th appearance for Alcantara, and so far the numbers are really good. .51 earned run average and a whip below 1. He had a 281 down at AAA. Made 6 appearances with the big club last year.
Goodrum has gone to left. Rodriguez now at second.
Pretty good funk in that delivery.
Add-on runner 2 wouldn't be a terrible idea. Three and 0.
Contreras showing bunt there. Screen McCann a little bit.
Contreras and McCann having a little, little chat.
I don't know if he's, Contreras showed bunt, pulled the bat back, and McCann didn't catch the ball, but he's going to do it again. Good for you, man.
Here's Ian Happ. And McCann will head to the mound.
Alcantara down at AAA, 51 in the third innings, only issued 7 walks.
Here was the 2-0. Yeah, I think he was upset that he was shielded from seeing the ball, and
yeah, well, that's
Willie said, and
yeah, I mean, that wasn't intentional. He just taking a pitch.
He goes, it's 2-0. So 5 straight bad ones. And the pitch missed again.
Looking at some of his years as a minor leaguer, a few years back as a younger pitcher, he did have some control issues then. You could see why. I mean, that delivery is really unorthodox. He breaks his hands, and he really keeps his hand in real close to his body. Kind of a herky-jerky delivery.
Goodrum in left center makes the catch.
Brewers won their game earlier today. Freddie Peralta was really good for Milwaukee. Cardinals and Dodgers just underway out west during the first. Cardinals have already won the first 2 games of that series. And Flaherty going tonight against Walker Buehler. A couple of rookies. Cardinals just 2.5 back entering play tonight, the closest they've been in a while. 16-4 St. Louis here in the month of August.
Murphy lines into right. A 2-for-5 Cubs debut.
Well, he took an 0 for his last game with the Nationals. That snapped an 11-game hitting streak. This guy is just a hit machine. The ability to manipulate that bat to get pitches. Get 2 pitches all over the place, up, down, in and out, off the plate, on the plate. I'm still really surprised that he passed through waivers all the way to the Cubs.
I agree. I don't know if some other teams were concerned they would have to pay the remainder of his 2018 salary. But the only thing I can think of is Baez felled by that foul. And maybe got him above the guard on that front leg. Nick Frangella out to check on him.
Above it, yeah.
Inside the knee. So a painful strike to start the at-bat.
Player placed on waivers. Any team can put a claim in on that player. The claim will go to the team with the worst record in the league. And in this case with Murphy, it'd have to pass all the way through the National League if nobody claimed him. Then the American League clubs would get involved. So we're talking Cardinals, Brewers, Rockies, Dodgers, Phillies, Braves. I mean, any number of clubs in contention could have put a claim in on him.
High fly ball out in the deep left. Back at the wall is Goodrum. It's gone. A 3-run homer for Baez. And some ninth inning insurance. And a painful run around the bases. You can see him wincing. And the Cubs lead now 7-2. And I think McCann and Contreras might have had another chat.
Well, let's see here. Alcantara throws him that fastball in again, and Javi jumps all over it. The Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? 378 feet.
Ball one to Rizzo.
You know what Javi should have done? He should have done the Kirk Gibson. Trot around the bases when the bad leg. Pumping his fists, a la Gibby.
Well, I'll tell you what. McCann made the final out of the 8th, so I think that's a good thing that he's not coming up again. So McCann and Contreras won't have to get together again, hopefully. Rizzo fouls away. 5 runs in 5 games to start the trip. 7 tonight. Low. 3-1.
I'd be tempted not to run Strope back out there for the 9th, but there's nobody up in the Cubs pen.
Another one drilled out in the deep left. Goodrum will watch this one go. They go back to back in the 9th. 8-2. Rizzo at number 20, and he notches his 80th RBI as well.
Crooked numbers, the order of the day here tonight in Detroit after all those singletons finally breaking out. It's a little runner out away from him. Boom, boom. Let's take a look at the Southwest Airlines. How far did it fly? The distance of that home run, 398 feet. Go to WGNTV.com/contest for a chance to win round-trip travel for 2 on Southwest Airlines in the United States and Puerto Rico.
And we'll get a pitching change. The Cubs have opened up a 6-run 9th inning lead. Baez and Rizzo. David with his 4th. Baez with his 26th. Rizzo with number 20. Here's Lewis Coleman.
'38th appearance for the veteran right-hander. Saw him with the Dodgers back in 2016. He did not pitch in the big leagues last year. Pitched at AAA with the Diamondbacks and the Reds.
Off the end of the bat, it'll kick foul.
Now there is action in the Cubs bullpen.
In the air to right and foul. Brandon Kinsler is up for the Cubs. Oh, 2 lifted foul off to the left. And the Cubs trying to keep the Brewers at 3 back and the Cardinals at 2.5. And maybe 3.5. As the Cardinals are playing the Dodgers tonight. Still can't figure out who's going to win the National League West. And we might not know until the final day of the season. 3 teams within 3.5 in that division. A ground ball. Rodriguez fires quickly to first. Actually, that might be, is that Candelario? They call it shifting. Nope, it's Rodriguez. Diamondbacks lead by a 1.5 games.
The final weekend of the season could be really something this year. It's be hard for any of these clubs to get any real separation, you would think.
Cubs only have one more series against that division. That's in Arizona in September. But as I said earlier, still will play 4 of the 5 teams in the East. The Cubs are not done with interleague play after tonight. The series at the White Sox on the final road trip of the season. The 0-1 to Hayward is bounced to the shortstop Iglesias. Big 4-run ninth, and the Cubs lead this game 8-2. Game series split. Leading 8-2, and it's Brandon Kinsler.
The veteran right-hander works for the 55th time. 1-3 with a 370. He was a losing pitcher last time out. Over in Pittsburgh on the 19th. Give up the walk-off to Adam Frazier.
So the Cubs have lost their DH. Zobrist in to play second base. For Murphy. Rodriguez takes strike one on the inside corner. He is 1 for 3, an RBI single in the second. Started the game at first, now playing second base. Kinsler's 0-1. Strike two.
Joe really piecing it together here tonight. 5 2/3 from Lester, inning and a third from Cishek, a third of an inning Edwards. Wilson faced a batter. Strop went 2/3. If the add-on runs allows the opportunity to shut Strop down. He made 9 pitches tonight.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's out number 1. It brings up Reyes, the 9-hitter. Reyes, a Rule 5 pick from Arizona in December. Originally signed with Atlanta in 2011. Ball 1. 1-1. Ground ball right to Baez. He's got time. 2 up, 2 down here in the Tiger ninth. Jamer Candelario now. Cubs looking for their NL leading 72nd win. Right in the middle of the strike zone. The team with the most major league wins, the Boston Red Sox, 89 and 39.
Yeah, but they've lost 3 in a row.
They won tonight, though.
Funk. High time.
Beat the Indians 10-4. 1-2. Kinsler from the stretch, big leg kick and a pitch. Didn't miss by much. On the ground to Rizzo. Kinsler over quickly. Cubs win. Cubs win 8-2 the final. They got the offense going tonight. They hit home runs. They knocked in runs without hitting the long ball as well. John Lester gets his 14th win.
Yeah, after that streak of 5 consecutive games with just 1 run, they throw some crooked numbers out there. They welcome Daniel Murphy into the lineup. He was definitely a factor here. An RBI single in the 5th, added a hit in the 9th, also scored a run. So a good ending to a frustrating